Chapter 25. The word of the Lord came again unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against the Ammonites, and prophesy against them, and say unto the Ammonites, Hear the word of the Lord God. Thus saith the Lord God, Because thou saidst, Aha, against my sanctuary when it was profaned, and against the land of Israel when it was desolate, and against the house of Judah when they went into captivity, behold, therefore I will deliver thee to the men of the east for a possession, and they shall set their palaces in thee, and make their dwellings in thee. They shall eat thy fruit, they shall drink thy milk. And I will make Rabbah a stable for camels, and the Ammonites a couching place for flocks. And ye shall know that I am the Lord. For thus saith the Lord God, Because thou hast clapped thine hands, and stamped the feet, and rejoiced in heart with all thy despite against the land of Israel, behold, therefore I will stretch out mine hand upon thee, and will deliver thee for a spoil to the heathen. And I will cut thee off from the people, and I will cause thee to perish out of the countries. I will destroy thee, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God, Because that Moab and Seir do say, Behold, the house of Judah is like unto all the heathen. Therefore, behold, I will open the side of Moab from the cities, from his cities which are on his frontiers, the glory of the country, Beth Jeshimoth, and Baal-meon, and Kiriathaim, unto the men of the east of the Ammonites, and will give them in possession, that the Ammonites may not be remembered among the nations. And I will execute judgments upon Moab, and they shall know that I am the Lord. Thus saith the Lord God, Because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them, therefore thus saith the Lord God, I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and they shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord God. Thus saith the Lord God, Because the Philistines have dealt by revenge, and have taken vengeance with a despiteful heart, to destroy it for the old hatred. Therefore thus saith the Lord God, Behold, I will stretch out my hand upon the Philistines, and I will cut off the cherethims, and destroy the remnant of the sea coast. And I will execute great vengeance upon them with furious rebukes, and they shall know that I am the Lord, when I shall lay my vengeance upon them. In this chapter, Ezekiel is given to prophesy about the surrounding countries, all of which had tried in some way, shape, or form to take advantage of Israel every chance they had received, and especially when Nebuchadnezzar had come to lay siege to Samaria and lay siege to Judah and Jerusalem. And so he prophesied against Ammon and Moab and Edom, which were on the east side of the Jordan River and the Dead Sea, and against Philistia, home of the Philistines, which was between Judah and the coast and the actual sea, Mediterranean Sea, and against Tyre and Sidon, which were two city-states up towards where Lebanon is now, and against Egypt, and things that would befall them. So it's sort of an interesting situation, as the Lord remembers the evil that was done to his promised land and his promised people, not just what they did, but what others did to them. The word aha is very, very negative thing to say. It's something that, aha! Something bad finally happened to you, sort of thing. It's a joyful exclamation that says you are so delighted that something bad finally happened to somebody. And that's why it had its effect of being very unwelcome to hear. And the cherethims actually is a name that was given to the people who lived on the island of Crete, who were the sort of parent civilization of the Philistines. Now, just as the Philistines had Philistia, which was a coastal community, maybe 10 or 15 miles inland as well, from the Mediterranean coast towards Jerusalem, but 10 or 15 of the 70 miles towards Jerusalem. There were obviously, or at least as far as the Lord was concerned, some of the people who were not just Philistines, not just normal residents, but people from Crete who were living there. And Seir, S-E-I-R, is the original name for the mountain ridge that runs from the south end of the Dead Sea. You got to remember, the Dead Sea area is part of this great trench that runs from that area, which is 1,300 feet below sea level, all the way down the Great Rift Valley into Africa. And the ridge from the Dead Sea to the Gulf of Aqaba was called Seir. And it was the area that the descendants of Esau used to live. And Seir became commonly used to denote the country of Edom.